Past an SS. Wonder who the hell that was. The Zeta chassis that was tuned in Australia for the 5th gen Camaro and the VE and VF Commodore, in this case I'm driving my VF Commodore, is known to be a very good chassis. Overall handling and great balance. So, should you mess with a good thing? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. As far as what I'm talking about upgrading are some suspension parts. If you've seen a couple of videos back, I bought some upgraded parts for the springs, the tow rods, and the trailing arms for the rear of the car, and some front end links and some front strut tower bushings, just to refresh, to replace, and to improve handling. By the way, shout out to my buddy Chris Jones, GM Master Tech, for doing the install on this car. Awesome guy to work with here in the DMV area. If you got a VE, VF Commodore, or any car really, reach out to him, see what he can do for you. I got good news and bad news. The bad news is when I took the car to get the suspension parts installed, they discovered a little bit of leaking in the rear magnetic ride shocks. It is a known issue. Your mileage may vary, but it does happen. Not saying it will happen to you, but in my case, so I will address that. I'll have to order replacements sooner than later. The good news, this car feels fantastic. In the corners and the elevations, the car feels a lot more planted, less body roll, just overall a better driving experience when it comes to the handling piece. Now, it's not a full suspension upgrade. Everything is stock as far as the sway bars and stuff like that. The only thing upgraded was the springs are lowered down an inch with King springs. I went with the SL. The rear trailing arms have been upgraded, and the rear tow rods have been upgraded. They're adjustable, all from BMR. I also upgraded the front end links, and I also had to replace the strut bushings up front as well. They were worn out. The car's stance looks a lot better, even though it's an inch drop. That's it. Nothing too aggressive. It just looks better overall. A little bit more aggressive, a little bit more sporty looking. This car is thirsty. It's time to get some gas. And time to refuel this baby. Third gear. Nice. Wow. It's like the tires stay on the road. Doesn't feel like it's losing grip or traction. What a difference. What a difference. Nice. I can't imagine if I upgraded everything in the suspension. What that would be like. It's pretty awesome. 45, 50 into these turns. You gotta be careful because it's residential. Miles an hour, third gear. Just passed an SS. Alright, so a little bit of feedback here. Why did I do it anyway? The suspension, stock suspension is great. Fantastic. Really had no complaints. Well, I really just started with just springs in mind. I wanted to kind of refresh the look. You know, the stock height is fine for many, many people. But something for me, I wanted, you know, I've had this car a while. I wanted to kind of refresh the look. So why don't I just lower it? So I've seen many SS's out there with a lower stance, and they look fantastic. I love it. I didn't want anything too aggressive, so I went with a 1-inch drop all around. I think it's 0.9 and 1 inch. So I went with King springs. I went with the SL, and those come from Australia. I ordered those through ssonly.com. All the suspension parts I ordered through ssonly.com. While I was contemplating this, some owners recommended, hey, you have a high mileage vehicle, I'm sure your suspension is fine. However, if you're going to refresh the springs, and you're going to keep this car for thousands upon thousands more miles might as well refresh other parts as well. So the recommendation was the trailing arms at the back and the tow rods. And while I am refreshing the suspension back there, just not everything, just those parts, maybe I should do the front end links as well, since that takes a beating. And with as many miles as I had on this car, I might as well have done the same thing, right? With the front, to some degree. So I know the end links that connect us to the sway bar up front, that's under stress all day long, right? So I went ahead and upgraded those too. Just the overall lower center of gravity with springs alone, I think helps a lot. The rear trailing arms and tow rods upgrades, if you suffer from wheel hop, like at the drag strip at the racetrack, those suspension parts back there probably will be a good help to keep the tires on the track and not hopping all over the place when you're launching. Should help a lot with your launches. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. Is there a benefit? Hell yes. And let's talk about that. Does it benefit the ride quality? In my opinion, for a performance sedan, absolutely yes, because this is a performance sedan that is, you know, it's on the heavy side. It's a large sedan. So you're going to feel the weight of this thing being tossed around the corners, around the elevations of the road and whatnot. If you're driving in a spirited manner, that is, of course. And with a car like this, of course you're going to drive in a spirited manner. So overall, it's a great upgrade to refresh those parts. Whether you have low mileage or high mileage, I think it really enhances the already great suspension architecture of this Zeta chassis. So now that we got the why and the what out of the way, did it impact ride quality? Absolutely not. The ride quality actually remains the same. For me, at least. I don't feel any impact to the ride quality. It didn't worsen it. Maybe improved it to me a little bit, but to my wife, she said it felt exactly the same as far as ride quality. But for handling, oh heck yeah, the ride quality is really improved there. For sport and performance, and happy to report, ride quality remains consistent with what it feels like when you're in stock, with the exception of, you know, the improved handling, which is a benefit in my opinion. And finally, value. Your price may vary depending on which vendor you go through, but for anywhere around, if I do the math, just about $1,500 or under, including the install, depending where you go. It is a great overall improvement for this car. By the way, shout out to my buddy Chris Jones, GM Master Tech, for doing the install on this car. Awesome guy to work with here in the DMV area. If you got a VE, VF Commodore, or any car really, reach out to him, see what he can do for you. I'll try and put his Facebook profile somewhere in the link description below. I'll also put the links to the parts I got for this car into the video description as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this update. Let me know if you got any more questions. Can't wait to see your comments. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.